of this, it meets my criteria, I can do it as a percent, was 45% on the $300,000 ARV, so I'm over 15%, I'm also over 30,000. Now I'm getting pretty close to time here. I gotta think what else I wanted to cover. So this is a spreadsheet that I use to calculate the deals. Other people do, the guru model out there, or the easy model, is they take the ARV, or they do ARV times 65% minus the rehab cost, just as a general number. But to me, I want to look at the exact numbers. Because again, that model may not allow you to do any deals at all, ever, because those numbers may not work, okay? So let me go back, because I want to go quickly through and see if I have where I left off here on the slide, just to see that I cover everything real quick here. And if I have time, I'll go back to maybe do some stuff to the wrong slide. That's some of my Okay, so we're there, then we jump to there. Yeah, I'll try to get through this really quick. That's probably good. Okay, so again, when people do appraisals, or excuse me, do comps, this is what a comp looks like actually. But I just want to show this more from an appraisal standpoint. Good appraisals and good comps will do pluses and minuses for bedrooms and bathrooms. So if the subject property, that's a property that we're trying to get a value for, if the subject property has 4 bedrooms, for an example, and you're using a comp in the same area, but this one has 5 bedrooms, you've got to adjust for the difference in the amount of bedrooms, or square footage is different. You have to plus or minus from that sales price of those from the comps that you're using based on that. So I won't go into detail other than to say a good comp, you should see pluses and minuses pointed out for bedrooms, bathrooms, garages, square footage. Those would be the very common things to do. Here's where I just wanted to point out about a neighborhood, how you try to define neighborhood. There's a railroad tracks there. You try to stay on one side of railroad tracks, rivers, streams, whatever. Realtor.com, we talked about using that as a resource. Zillow, we didn't get a chance to get to, but that's something that I use with a grain of salt about what that can do for you. Redfin's another site. Trulia.com, I usually only use that really looking at the crime. I think it's very easy to put in the address and to see the area, crime area. And then the Renatus iOS is what I showed you. You can do comps on the iOS. What I like about that system, and again, I don't want to keep you after 12, but what I like about that system is first, it shows a map of everything that's sold in the area. So you can visually look at a neighborhood, and we'll show a map with a bunch of little dots on there, okay? And then be like, oh wait, eliminate this one, eliminate this one, because it's not in my neighborhood. Then you hit next, and now it calls up those properties that are listed, and it shows you how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms. You can maybe look at pictures of it, then you can say, okay, this I'm going to eliminate because the square footage is way off. This I'm going to eliminate because it's got 2 more bathrooms than my property does. So you can eliminate, and then you can create your own comp, or your own CMA, I should say. So you can use those comps to create your own estimated rehab value. Okay? This is the fix and flip worksheet that I went through. Here's the kind of analysis on the property. In the back office of the education programs, it does have very detailed how to calculate rehab costs. So becoming good at that is very important. MLS, we talked about properties that need work. Reality check. The reality check that I always say is that people say, look, I've got this house and look at the pictures here, and then a house right down the street sold for $300,000. We can get this for $100,000. We can put, $50,000 into it. And they're running the numbers. I said, wait, here's the reality check. Look at the pictures of the property you want to buy. If you put $50,000 into that property, will it look like that property? Oh, well, maybe not exactly, or whatever. I mean, there's some, you'd have to put $150,000 to get it to look, the outside, the curb appeal. This has got brick, whether it's brick in the front or this is full brick or whatever. That's the reality check, okay? Don't get emotional about, I want this property. Look at it. Okay, if I put if I have a rehab budget of, I put my numbers based on 50,000. If I put 50,000 into it, will it look like that? Because a lot of times, I'll have somebody send me and they'll send me, oh look, here, and here's the comp. And they'll have like 20,000 for rehab. I said, do you really think if you added 20,000 to that house in that condition, it would look like that house? Well, wait, I guess not. I didn't change out the bathroom. Well, that one, the other one's got a brand new bathroom in it. Okay, and well, I wasn't going to change out the kitchen. I was just going to, paint it. I was just going to do carpet. That one's got hardwood floors. Okay, so that's the reality check that you need to do. Ideally, you want the worst house in a very good neighborhood. Ways to work with us, I said this before, is, and this is the reason why I do this. I've gotten private money lending. I've got equity partners for these, from the meetup groups that I'm doing, giving you this free information. So work with us as a private money lender. That's negotiable, but usually it's right around 12%. That's secured by the property, first position lien holder on the property. You could also be an equity partner. If you have questions about that, we can talk about that further, where you get 50% of the profits. You can learn how to be a real estate investor, a very comprehensive approach. I tell people this, if you want to really be a real estate investor and become a real estate investor, whether it was intentional or not, you paid for your education. Now you can either pay for it intentionally, where it's a set curriculum and you know you're being trained, or you can be out there in the Wild West doing real estate deals without training, and you found out, oh, I lost 20,000 on that deal, I could have made 50,000 more on that deal if I would have done. Oh, by the way, the SEC has contacted me, I might have raised capital inappropriately, and now I'm under investigation. So you're going to pay one way or the other. It's just whether or not you want to do it as a planned curriculum and you know you're being trained rather than, because I've done, I did probably 10 real estate, well, I might do more than that, real estate deals before I joined this group, and so I had the perspective of the before and after. And I actually violated, I think in one case I violated a securities law unintentionally. I mean, it was even with my sister, for Pete's sake. I mean, that's nobody I wanted to, hurt her in any way, thought I was doing anything wrong, but the way that I raised the capital, as I look back and what I know now, I shouldn't have done it that way. Could have got us probably both in trouble. And it was out of ignorance, it wasn't out of bad intent. So you could say, oh, I'm a good person, and there's no way I'd put anybody in jeopardy, whatever. Even though I know she was never in jeopardy, if somebody examined that from a security standpoint, I'd probably cross the line as a security. So anyway, those are things to know. So if you want more information about this, I'll just give you a couple of slides. This is where we do the training. So once a month on a Saturday, how many's been to a Saturday workshop here before? Saturday costs $50, it's the whole day. We had Mark Kohler last month. In a couple weeks, we're going to have Eric Counts, he's the Credit Nerds, founder and CEO of Credit Nerds. So he knows everything there is about personal credit. And even if you have good personal credit, this is great. Remember I said about helping people? If you learn this stuff, you're going to be able to help family members and friends tremendously. You will know more, probably. I bet if you go through that workshop on that Saturday, I would bet you know more than 99% of the people out there in terms of credit. Is it the 16th, 17th?
Yeah,
it's whatever that Saturday.
Mm-hmm. It's a week from today.
How do you sign up for that?
Get with the person that invited you here. They need to sign you up in the back office.
Oh.
Yeah. So is that me or is that through Michelle? I couldn't remember who came in.
You.
Okay. So yeah, let me know when you can do that. So that's phenomenal. Absolutely. I mean, he's the most knowledgeable about credit I've ever seen. Great name, Credit Nerds, because he's a credit nerd. I mean, he knows everything about credit. It's like, get a life, man. You're reading all these books all the time about credit, but it's great. So, but going through the program, those are some exposures you can get. If you do join the online program, again, you can participate in a study group just like this. Hopefully you got some value out of these 2 hours. You learned something. Think about where you could be in a year or 2 years from now if you were sitting here every single week. And it wasn't just my content, it's maybe another facilitator that has a different approach, a different experience. And when we start opening it up to questions, and the guy sitting right next to you might have done 10 real estate deals and he's got wisdom to share. And the other part of joining the group that I'm a big believer in is networking. Almost all my funding of my real estate deals that I'm doing right now came as a direct or indirect result of somebody in this community, in this group, that they're funding the deal. Now, that does not happen overnight. I don't want you to think, oh man, I just joined this group and people are gonna be throwing money at me. I have to pay my dues. I was in your seat listening to a facilitator for the first couple study groups. It wasn't until I proved myself that people wanted to give me money, that people wanted to join. It was my integrity, my knowledge, my giving. If you do that, you won't have any trouble networking with people that can get you in touch with the right resources, the right money, and so forth. But it takes work. It can't be, oh, it'll come once in a while, and sometimes this thing's gonna work. This is work. It's not get rich quick, all right? But at least you have a chance to get rich. A lot of people are working jobs where you can work all day long and all night long, and you're never gonna be rich, never gonna get wealthy, never gonna be financially independent. At least real estate provides a vehicle that you have that opportunity, you have that hope, you have that possibility. You have, you can do what millions of people all over the country have done year after year after year. So at least you're in the game. If you're sitting on the bench and you're not in the game, it's never gonna happen. This gets you in the game. So I'm a big believer in it. It's really benefited. I feel it's blessed me. It's blessed me with the people that's brought to me and connected me with. It's blessed me financially. It's been a great experience for me. So I'm a big believer in that. And the other thing you can do is just, if you want to, if you're not ready to take that step, if you just wanna go to the free, I usually do property tours every couple weeks. And then I also do, I'm gonna start maybe doing some of these sessions. I'd love to hear your feedback, pros and cons. We can't take on too much, you gotta really narrow down. I like to cover everything for you, but I really can't. But that's the other way to work with us. The private money lender, this was the equity partnership model. I'm not gonna go into that because I do that at my property tours. This is about real estate investor education. There's other companies out there. I think their delivery model is flawed, being a teacher and a coach myself. I love the fact that when you join this group, you get 24/7 access to the education online, and then you get the personal, local touch that we do in the study groups. The other companies, you have to fly out to do boot camps. You're getting them in 3-day sessions, and then you can't record it. You can't, videotape it. You can't do an audio recording of it. It's like, what happens when I get out of there and I forgot what the guy said, You gotta take notes, and when you're taking notes, you're not listening. When you're listening, you're not taking notes. It's a dilemma that we all, remember the school days for everybody, right? So this company, I hang my hat here because they have an A+ rating in the Better Business Bureau. So I really think that that's important. If you're gonna get involved in something, you want integrity from all the way to the top of the company. This company does, A+ rating. Here's the different things that they offer: fix and flip, lease options, which is buy and hold, short sale, multifamily dwellings, tax liens and deeds. By the way, there's a scavenger sale coming up, I think next month. One of the persons bought and controlled the liens to 36 properties. And so she's part of the group. There's a sale coming up if you want to quickly get trained on that. Commercial real estate. So we have a couple different ways to get involved on there, different price points. This is called Essentials. This is everything, the foundations, setting up the right company, the right kind of company, business entity. Talk a little bit about raising money through self-directed IRAs, 401ks. That is pivotal. You have to be an expert. If you're going to be a real estate investor, you have to be an expert in self-directed IRAs and 401ks. Even if you don't have one. In fact, more so if you don't have one. Because that's what's going to allow you to attract capital. People will not give you money unless you know what you're talking about. You need to know what the rules are, the regulations. You still need to use a third-party administrator, so you'll never be like in control of that money. You need to have the answers to them. If they ask you questions, some of it you're not going to know right away. You're going to say, well, I've got another partner or another community member I'll have to ask and get clarification, or we'll have to call the attorney, get clarification. You need to know about 90% of it. If you're going to risk someone's retirement money, you need to know the answers to those questions. Because it's an unbelievable vehicle, and it's information they're not going to get from their financial advisor. I can guarantee you that. I've never had one person I've talked to about a self-directed IRA and said, oh yeah, my financial advisor told me about that.
Because the advisors don't make money.
Because the advisors, they're going to lose you as a client. If you know what else is out there available, they can only sell what their company offers. Then, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, that's it. Can I buy real estate? Oh no, you can't buy real estate. Well, the answer is, he can't help you buy real estate. You can do it by law, okay? So knowing that is so powerful, because if you could help people, think of all the people that have retirement accounts that their money's going up and down and it's a headache to them, and over years, they might have lost money. If you could give them 12% guaranteed as a private money lender, you know what relief that would be for them? Oh my gosh, I mean, I'm gonna make 12% on this money, I don't have to keep watching the stock market and hope that it goes up. It's gonna be guaranteed 12%, you can provide that if you know what you're doing. So this is, I'll just round these numbers off, $2,000 level. At the $8,000 level, basically it's picking 2 of these, it's doing the essentials, and then you can pick 2 of the 6, okay? And then this one is everything, this is like all-inclusive, this is everything, this is for life, this is for life, this is for a year. You can always upgrade there, there's a little bit of upgrade fee. So this part is unlimited, this part is for 1 year, 12 months, this is also unlimited.
Well, the first one said 12 months too, didn't it? Essentially?
I think it did, but it's now, it's
Okay.
an old slide, good
Okay.
catch, but this is actually, now they made it available for life. What I find this company keeps making things better and better, they rarely take anything away, it's usually add. Just like when I bought this, there was only like, I think, 4 tracks, now there's 6. It's like I got 50% more, didn't have to pay anymore, okay?
So
Yeah.
say if you took the advanced and you had that 2 classes for 1 year, and then you wanted to get another 2 classes, how would you do that? I mean,
Yeah,
how
you
much
can
more would it be?
upgrade, it used to be $900, I thought I heard something that said 700, is it only 700 now?
I thought it was 5, sorry.
Oh, maybe it's 5 now, because I think it reduced, because it used to be like 900, it's 5? Okay, so you pay the difference in the price plus a $500 upgrade fee. And we'll have to check on that 500, don't quote me on that, I think that's what it is now, it used to be more. Used to be like, you know. So you can go from here to here with nothing additional, because this is kind of separate. But if you're here, you go from here to here, there's a little bit of upgrade.
Okay, so if you bought the essentials, you get 2,000 off on the extreme, right?
Yeah, that part has already been paid for, yeah. So this includes, this price includes this in it, this price includes this in it, so if you started out there, you just pay the difference here, or pay the difference there, yeah. And we go into more, these are great questions, we'll go when we're
Yeah,
done here, so I
okay.
can let everybody know. The other thing, just to let you know, is that the gurus out there, people, they have a different business model, they advertise like Van Mierle, they got somebody calling me on the phone, they're paying to market, they're on TV, they're late night TV, they're info commercials, they're on the internet. So they pay all those companies to advertise. This one, no advertising budget at all, it's all paid directly to people referring them. So there is an opportunity to refer people, and once you're what's called qualified to be at full commissions, you can make as much as $10,000 for referral into the program. So some people like, and basically it would work like this, if you were, let's make the numbers easy, if you're at that top package, if you're at the top package and you refer 2 people, then you start making $10,000 after that. So if you refer 4 people, if you come in at the top package, refer 4 people, and not within a year, just could be over your lifetime. You refer 4 people, basically your whole education for life is free. So that's how we try to do that, okay? All right, here's the, this is what that room will look like when we do those things like the credit nerds is this month, and the next one's outstanding too. Chris Wilson, one of the most knowledgeable real estate investors you will ever be in front of, I can guarantee you that. You're gonna go, like you go to these guru workshops, oh, it's Dan Merrill. Guess what, Dan Merrill's not in front of the room. He's in, he's in Hawaii or something, someplace, right? So you're not getting, Rich Dad, guess what, it's not Robert Kiyosaki there, it's some guy doing the training, right? But when you come to this workshop, especially next month, Chris Wilson will be probably the most successful real estate investor that you may ever be a chance to be in front of live. He does millions in wholesaling and millions in buying holds, and he's nationwide. He does real estate all over the country. Very knowledgeable, so that's just $50 for the entire day. That's in July. The one in June is credit cards. Any last questions before I let you guys go? Yeah.
It goes back to the farm area, and this is like a burning question I've had since I started learning more about this. When you're shopping or looking at your farm area, how can you tell if it's an investor, I don't know if hot area is the right word, but when looking at zip codes, how can you tell if it's an investor-friendly area to look at when you're looking at the on-market?
Well, it's a combination of those things. I mean, there's no magic thing. I would look at price, increase in value. So a lot of times, like at, I'm trying to get this on my screen, because you reminded me of something when you said that. There we go. So, a little bit about my target area. So again, mine is not only areas where I think has a good, normally if an area has a good school district, it's not gonna go down. okay? I'm not saying it's gonna shoot up. Remember Trends was like, oh, they're building a brand new restaurant, or they're building the Obama Library,
Right.
you know, in that area. That would, you know, definitely be a trend where people wanna maybe go in there. They're building a new park or whatever. So that information is good to know, but that is still speculation in terms of what's coming down the pipe. I don't do my investing based on speculation. It's the prices now and getting in and out in 6 months. And that's why I don't evaluate rental property based on appreciation of that rental property. I buy it for cash flow. Doesn't
Okay.
matter if the price goes up and down. If this is the rent, that's the rent that I'm gonna get. And I'm doing it based on cash flow, not based on appreciation. So there's not an easy answer to what you're saying, but what got me thinking is these are areas that I target based on how I see the markets being attractive, and it's based on where I live, okay? So you got it and I'll send you this, when you send me an email, I'll send you this. So, you know, it's got everything from Bridgeview, then it goes all the way down to Oak Brook. So this is basically areas I work or live, and then also areas then that I have to commute to get to this office for at least once or twice a week. So those are the areas I invest in. So whoops, I do that, I forget, not everything's a touch screen. Once you have it, you think everything's a touch screen. So these are my target areas that I'm really looking for. And then on this side are areas of consideration. So in other words, if you sent me something in these other areas, it doesn't mean that I wouldn't do it, but some of it's just based on how far it is. Like Brookfield, for example, is on that. That's a great area to do real estate in. It's just along, there's not an easy way for me to get there. You know, I gotta go around if I'm going expressways, or go through a lot of busy streets going up. So, but that area is where I won't eliminate it. It's like, yeah, I might be doing that. I might, and send me if you wanna send me those properties. So I'll send you this list. When you send me the email, remember everybody wrote down my email address, right? So randypertler@onlineowners.com. If you send me an email and say, Randy, send me the information from the workshop, I'll send you this, areas that I'm looking for. At least you know you got one buyer in those areas. Obviously, if you're an investor, you wanna learn this, you can build a buyer's list and learn how to do that, and you can send it to all your buyers when you get a property. But this is one where you know, hey, you got a buyer, someone buys for cash, they want the properties and they want them right away. So, anyway, that's just, and like I say, it's based on school district, crime, and where Randy lives.
Right,
I mean,
so
that's
that's
my
what makes
list.
it attractive for you.
Yes.
Okay, so it's not even about like, cause I was always, when I was looking at like certain zip codes, just looking at the activity that's going on based on, you know, what is selling. So looking for those low numbers versus the high numbers, and in some of them, or many of the zip codes, they've been kind of flatline, you know, on the same level, so it was very
See,
difficult.
but again, you're talking about appreciation. I'm not basing
So
my
it is,
number on.
so
Flat line is fine for me. I'm gonna base all the numbers on flat line.
okay,
You know, if a house sold $200,000, that house, and I estimated the value, in 6 months, guess what? I'm putting the numbers based on 200,000. I'm not
Right.
doing it at 210. I'm not saying, oh, in 6 months, it's gonna go up to 225.
okay, so that,
Again, that's speculating.
got
But,
it,
but what you said earlier is worth talking a little bit about, and that is I do look at days on the market and that properties are moving. So when I look at the, we didn't get into this today, but when I do a comp, all right, I'm looking at that neighborhood, and I'm going to be looking at the last 3 months. How many properties, is there at least 3 to 5 properties in that neighborhood that is sold in the last 3 months? If the answer is no, you know what a lot of investors do? They just won't buy in that neighborhood, they'll move to the next neighborhood, okay? I'm not quite that strict, I'll probably go out to a year, or maybe 6 months. And here's another reason why it might not be selling. Sometimes no properties are on the market. So that's my other reality check. It's like, wait, only 2 properties sold in this neighborhood in the last 6 months. Then I'm gonna see how many properties are on the market. If maybe only 1 or 2 are even on the market, I'm like, this could be a real desirable area. It's because hardly any, there's no inventory there, and people are you know, wanting to buy. And the only reason why 2 properties, because there are only 2 properties available, and they both sold very quickly. What scares me is, well, wait a minute. I'm looking at this, and there's quite a few that sold, maybe 3 sold, but then I'll look at, oh my gosh, and there's like 30 on the market in this neighborhood.
so there's
You
a
know,
lot of
and only,
activity.
yeah, there's gotta be, you know, that balance. So you could say, is 5 sold in the neighborhood good? Well, not if there's 30 maybe on the market right now in the neighborhood, and only 5 sold in the last 6 months. But if there's only 3 on the market, and 3 of them sold in the last 6 months, I don't think that's much of a risk. I'm like, wow, when properties go on. And also be careful on date on the market, because if a broker takes it off, takes the listing off, and then they relist it again, they can start at those days, you'll see that recorded as new days on the market. And I don't worry about, as much as other people think days on the market is the whole story, I look at what they had the price, at the price at. Some people, you know, a year on the market wouldn't scare me necessarily on a property. If they had it listed at 300,000, they weren't motivated. And then they went down to, you know, like 275, and then when they got to 250, which is where they should have been, it sold in like 30 days. Well, I take that into account. You know what? When it was priced right, the property's worth 250 and it sold in 30 days at 250. My price point is 250. They're at 250. I don't say, oh man, but it took a year. You know, some owners, we gotta sell it, and then probably then their kids graduate. Like, well, now we're a little bit more reality. Let's see. I've done that with my properties. I'm not motivated to sell them necessarily, but I'll put them out there for a higher price. If they don't sell, they don't sell. It's no big deal. Yeah, but good question. I'm gonna have to wrap up so we can cut off the recording here. I'll stick around. If some of you, I might even have time to go across the street to Fuddruckers. If you guys want to go get something to eat and talk more over lunch, we can do this. But thanks so much for coming, and hope to see you again soon.